Side by Side, the story of Dolores Huerta and Cesar Chavez, written by Monica Brown and illustrated by Joe Cepeda. In New Mexico, there lived a little girl named Dolores who talked so fast her grandfather once said, "Dolores, you must have 7 tongues." Many miles away in Arizona, there lived a little boy named Cesar, who was a very good listener. Cesar listened to his mother cry when his family lost its home and they had to become migrant farm workers. When Dolores was a girl, she moved to California with her mother and brothers. She joined the Girl Scouts and worked to raise money for soldiers fighting in World War II. Caesar's family moved to California to follow the crops and work in the fields. Although he had to drop out of school to work, Caesar always had a book under his arm. From her mother, Dolores learned to think of others. When the poor farm families had no place to sleep, Dolores's mother would let them stay in her hotel for free. Life for Caesar's family was difficult. All day they bent over in the hot sun picking lettuce, strawberries, and grapes. They never had enough water to drink out in the fields. When Dolores grew up, she became a teacher. She saw the farm worker children come to school cold and barefoot and too hungry to learn as well as they could. When Caesar grew up, he and his friends were hurt by dangerous tools and mean bosses who sprayed plants with poisons that made the farm workers sick. Then something special happened. Dolores and Caesar met. Dolores saw that Caesar had great faith. His dreams would bring hope to thousands of farm workers. Caesar saw that Dolores had great courage. She would stand up and fight for what was right. Side by side, Dolores and Caesar began their journey. Dolores and Caesar drove from town to town, standing on the back of flatbed trucks and inviting farm workers to join La Causa, the cause for justice. Together they demanded better living and working conditions for the farm workers. Caesar and Dolores asked people to stop buying grapes from California because the poison the growers used were making the workers sick. People listened, and the grapes rotted on the vine. The farm workers won! They got a safer place to work, and the grapes became safer for people to eat. Caesar led men, women, and children on a 340-mile march to demand that the workers get paid enough to live on. They arrived in Sacramento on April 10th, Dolores' birthday. Dolores gave an amazing speech and the people were heard. The growers signed a contract with the workers, giving them better pay for their hard work. It was time for the farm workers to share in the harvest. Though they each had a large family, little food, and no money, when Dolores and Caesar sat down at Caesar's kitchen table, they always looked for ways to make the world a better place. "If we don't help the farm workers," Caesar asked Dolores, "who will?" When the growers and the politicians wouldn't listen, Caesar stopped eating for 36 days so that others would understand how important it was to protect the workers. When their bosses bullied them, the workers used to say, "We can't do it. We can't win." But with the help of Dolores, they began to chant, "Si se puede." Yes, we can. For 30 years, Dolores and Caesar worked and listened and talked and marched side by side. Dolores and Caesar helped families stay together. They fought to pass the Immigration Act of 1986 that helped more than 1 million immigrants become U.S. citizens. Dolores and Caesar had many victories. They knew that together all things were possible. In 1993, Caesar passed away, and Dolores and the farm workers marched to honor him. Dolores still works and marches for justice, and she is not alone. The spirit of Cesar Chavez is with her and by her side.